couple of years down the road, um, you have gotten a new job and you're pretty happy for it. You know, things were getting I don't want to say dire financially, but you could see dire on the horizon if you know what I'm saying.
So I left a job or I was unemployed. I didn't have income coming in.
So you've been kind of like so recently for money, what you've been doing is uh, you've been writing naughty Valentines and selling them to
Oh
people.
God. Pat,
So it's like, violets are roses are red, violets are blue. I love jacking off when looking at you. Love you, babe.
oh God. That
They write stuff like that.
roses are red, violets are blue. I love jacking off while looking at you. And then I have to sign it. Love
Love
you,
you, babe.
babe.
Yeah, and then you send it to whomever they want, and they can request different. There's different categories. They can request different stuff.
So wait, this isn't me selling a physical item for them to sign and then give to somebody. We're selling an experience of sending like a telegram, but
Yeah,
it's
basically
a oh, this
a naughty
sucks.
Valentine, like an erotic Valentine, I guess. So there's categories and stuff like that. Different prices for different things. There's no subject that you're not willing to tackle. As long as it's not like illegal or anything like that. Like whatever thing they want you to write about, you will. Whatever. But depending upon the category, it costs, different.
Yeah.
So if it's the thing where it's like girl next door, the thing that you kind of like, specialize in, that type of stuff, that's like your standard rate. And then if you want someone, if they want you to write something about like in the style of like an erotic authority figure, that's a little extra.
Like the big boss man.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
An erotic Valentine from the big boss man.
there once was a man who's a boss, and when he saw a woman, it rocked his socks. The problem laid bare was that he was in charge there, and she was quite a fox. Stay spicy.
That's an erotic Valentine from the big boss man.
I guess, yeah, it's not
Like
that one. I guess wasn't as that one's not very good, but stuff like that. I mean, whatever. So,
that is not worth charging somebody for.
well, you can see why you need this new job. You're a little like in debt.
Because of this sexy Valentine's venture.
No, no. This is a it's almost it's like 95% profit. This venture. The thing that kind of did you in was you invested money and you opened a weed resort. And
Why?
what
Why the fuck would I do that?
because you're always looking to the future and you're always looking to see what the next new big thing is. And as far as hospitality goes, it's going to be weed, baby. It's legal in California where you live. So you're like, I'll open it there. And you start
Oh,
thinking
wait, that
like,
was Arnold?
yeah, that's how it says California. California.
Okay, I didn't catch it at first.
Ice to meet you. Remember?
Yeah,
I haven't seen the
Mr.
movie in a long
Freeze.
time, but I should. Anyway, so yeah,
I
so yeah, so your thing is even in states where weed isn't legal yet, like at some point it will be. So why not get the experience running it here? And in the states where it's not legal, they can fly over to California and go to your weed resort. And basically, it's in LA. It was in a really beautiful spot overlooking like a almost like a canyon, you know.
How the fuck am I affording this? This isn't opening up a fucking taco truck. This is having real estate and a resort at a high end location. Like, how the fuck am I pulling this off?
You won the lottery,
How much?
15 million.
That's not enough money to do this.
Well, it's so the reason that it is enough money for you to have like set this whole thing up there is it was located on the grounds of a former hotel where there was like a caretaker there, in like the off season or whatever, and he went kind of nuts. He tried to kill his wife and son, but ended up freezing to death. And so people say that it's
Oh
been like
yeah,
haunted.
interesting. He froze to death in California.
It was a very strange case. And so
He
after
froze
that,
to death in that shining California sun. Sorry,
oh, the sun
California.
shined in California. The sun shined on that fucking resort. And so you got it kind of at a pretty good price because people say it's haunted and shit like that. And, you don't know anything about that. So you didn't encounter anything supernatural there. But I mean, some people who worked for you did, but you were like, whatever. I don't believe in no ghosts. None of the people who work there get the reference, like they're too young for Ghostbusters. So at
God
the
damn.
the weed resort, it's called Get High and Stay a While, and
What?
it is
That's the name of my fucking resort. The resort is called Get High and Stay a While. Pat,
yeah, it's and so it was actually it was a very great customer service experience for the guests for sure because it has this magnificent view, this weird, backstory. Um, the only thing that was kind of strange is that when they when they sold it to you, they made you promise to not get rid of the hedge mage head the hedge maze that they have
yeah,
there. That was the only thing.
okay. I mean, I'm closing it off, but I'm not gonna get rid of it.
And so at get high and stay a while, it's the
You
guests were
think I'm a
pretty
bunch
well.
of potheads roaming around that fucking maze? You know how many times we're gonna get called out there because people are lost?
And it still happens, even though like you had it closed off. People found their ways. People found their ways in. So, um, so it's not like it was a bad place. People really enjoyed themselves. It's just that everyone there was stoned all the time, even the people who worked there. And so there would be sometimes weeks where they would just get the people who worked there would get really stoned and they would try to like take people's like payments and stuff, but they'd be like, "Oh, I
I'm not
can't
gonna
figure it
allow.
out.
Look,
Let's take care
I'm
of
not
this
gonna. I'm
later."
not gonna allow that. No, I'm not. If I'm running this thing as like a for-profit entity, I'm not. There's no way I'm gonna allow that to happen.
Yeah. You said that and then it opened and on the first day you were there and someone who works there was like, "Hey Aaron, you want like a hit?" And you're like, "Definitely." And so
No, no, no. I'm
you
not
were
doing. I
also
don't get
just
high
as
when I
stoned as
work.
normally no, but this was a weed resort. It's kind of expected. So it was kind of, mismanaged financially and, you
You
know,
fucking
all,
kidding me? God, that pisses me off. I wouldn't do that.
yeah, but you did. And this is what happens in society sometimes. You know, you take chances and you lose millions of dollars. So
Look, you
you
want to work a little high, whatever, that's fine. But not to the point to where you cannot run a fucking credit card machine, to where you can't successfully swipe a credit card. That's too high.
sometimes you would forget to pay like the Wi-Fi bills and stuff like that. Also, there were these like the guests reported seeing getting really high and seeing like visions of like creepy twin sisters
Great.
really late at night
Yeah.
in the hallway.
Anything else?
Yeah, one of them said that when the elevator opened, like a bunch of like blood came out towards him. But this guy was known to just be high all the time, higher than other people. So, you know, you kind of
Yeah.
discounted it. Yeah, oh, that's old. Poke smoke him.
Hope smoke them.
Yeah, he's an old man from the West, and it's almost like he's like from the Wild West. It seems like in his like appearance and
What
stuff.
an awful
Poke
name.
smoke him. Well, that's his nickname. You know, that's what he goes by. He doesn't remember
Poke.
his real name. Poke smoke him. So old Pokey, as you call him, you're like, you know how Pokey is. You know, Pokey gets really high and claims he sees, women coming out of the bathtub, and at first you think it's like a hot chick, then you get closer and like, oh no, it's just something scary. So anyway, but that's in the past, and your whole thing is you're looking forward. So you are working
I hate
as
this.
you are working as a camp counselor.
But I own the place.
No. What happened was you were performing one night at an amusement park. This is a few years down the road. Amusement parks have started to incorporate stand-up comedy into their whole thing. So there's a lot of different places. Disneyland, obviously they play it pretty safe with their performers, but they have a comedy club uh, inside, like inside the park.
What's
It's
it called?
called Captain Giggles Laughapalooza, sponsored by Disney. And
Awful.
you were performing, and that this has started to become like, amusement parks. The whole thing is like, look, we call ourselves amusement parks. We have to be fully rounded type of presentation. So we're gonna have, more than just rides and arcades. Stand-up comedy. The new it's the new punk rock, you know?
Oh,
That's what like
gross.
that's like what you say to people sometimes.
No, that's not what I say to. Why do you
So,
always make me say these dramatic statements that I these sweeping grand things? It's the new punk rock. Fuck you.
because at your heart, Aaron, you're a romantic.
Yeah, I am.
So you're at the amusement park to performing a set. It's a place called Seven Flags, and the name of the comedy club uh, is called it's called
It's a Laughapalooza, right?
no.
Oh,
So
this is
that was
this is a
inside
diff this
Disneyland. Yeah,
this is a
this is
different one. It's
inside
a
Seven
seven
Flags.
flags.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's called Crack 'em Up, and it's a comedy club where you're cracking them up with your jokes, but they also have every table. They do like tableside like eggs, so they'll come up to you because the whole thing is like, yeah, comedy's great, but there's never any breakfast options. So why not try
I've
something new?
never heard anybody say comedy's great, but there are never any breakfast options. Is this like a morning comedy show, or is
No,
this like,
it's a
yeah,
place that
that's
serves
why.
it serves breakfast for dinner.
Brenner?
Yeah, and so
David Brenner.
so they so they'll have the waiters will come up to you you'll be sitting at a table and they're like, hey, welcome to Crack 'em Up. How would you like your eggs this evening? They have a 2 egg minimum, and people be like, scramble. Like, all right, 1 second, and they'll like fry it there at the table. Uh, it's almost like they're making their own guacamole, and they do sometimes, but eggs are the main thing. So you're performing there uh, at it's Seven Flags. It's a place. There is a place in town, um, and you're never quite certain like what the deal is with this place. You don't really go there very often. It's a little isolated. It's a little out of the way. People who live there are a little strange. It's called Softville,
Yeah.
and Softville is the people there are rural, and they do not like outsiders, but they also have an amusement park there, Seven Flags. Seven Flags over Softville. And the reason that it's called that is Softville over the years, they've had 7 main like religions that they've followed over the years. And they've fly a flag over in the center of downtown Softville. And they've had 7 different, belief systems that they've, again, they're a little strange. They're a little out there, but, I mean, they stare at you the whole time that you're there. Like they're not happy. But other than
Why the
that,
fuck
it's
am
an
I
okay.
going there? I don't
Because
want
you're
to go to a place
performing
where I'm
and
going to be
cracking up.
intimidated.
Not while you're not you're inside the amusement park.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
You were performing, you were telling jokes, and you were cracking them up that evening. There was like a heckler that you managed to like shut down in in a what's later called a very Brickensian way, where it's, you
Oh
know
boy.
what, I'm gonna make sure that like I like win this interaction that we're having by
Yeah.
getting laughs, but I'm not gonna be like, hey, you're stupid, like fuck you or whatever. It's more like, you're
Yeah.
like, hey, buddy, what's this about? Like you like gently rib the person back, and
Yeah.
you just like
That's becomes the thing that I'm known for.
yeah, gentle.
Gentle
It's
crowd work.
yeah, the Brickensian model. So, you're doing the damn thing that evening, You shut this guy up, but the guy still had a smile on his face.
Yeah. All right.
Um Afterward, you're leaving uh and this guy comes up to you. He's like, "Hey, I'm the owner of a camp, like a summer camp type deal thing, but it's a year-round camp thing. And we're actually doing a fundraiser for it tomorrow. Like, we'd love to have you come do a set there, perform." And you're like, "Yeah, I'd love to do some stand-up comedy." And he goes, "Oh no, we don't want you to do stand-up comedy. We want you to sing."
No.
You went viral a few years down the road.
No.
So what happened was
You fucking kidding me?
you you like went to like a public gym, and afterward, you had to get somewhere right afterward. So you showered there and stuff and got dressed and like left, and you thought that was the end of it. But what happened was after you showered, you didn't realize that you had your phone on like streaming live. But you
No.
get out of you get, I don't know. You get, because I don't know, you worked out really hard that day, I guess, and maybe you were thinking about your workout. I don't know. And so you get out of the shower, and luckily, they don't see any of your junk or whatever. But what they do see is you do the move where you have a towel wrapped around your butt, and you're kind of like going back and forth with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're singing a song that you made up, and you're just going, "I need to see you out on the dance floor, and you're like drawing your butt in time to it. And so it kind of goes viral. People are like, what the fuck is this? People have made it's kind of like a
Humiliating. An absolute humiliation.
people do stuff like on late night with Jimmy Fallon. Sometimes they'll do a thing with the Roots where they'll play like they use like elementary school type of instruments to play like pop songs, and
Sure.
they do out on the dance floor. It becomes like actually like a pretty intense meme. But anyway, so he's like, yeah, come out and sing, and you're like, I don't know, and then he's like, I'll pay you $7,000, and you go, check please, and he goes, what? And you're like, I don't know. So you end up performing at this fundraiser. It's for this place called Camp Terror.
God
Camp,
damn it.
and so what it is, Camp Terror is a camp that was built in like the 50s originally by the Terror family, and now it's gone through various owners over the years. It usually like shuts down for kind of weird, unexplained reasons. Sometimes it's shut down for like at one point it was shut down for like 17 years. Then it was open for like one weekend, and it was shut down again. But it's been going out. It's been going there on out there for like a while now, like and without any kind of incident. So things are okay, I guess, at Camp Terror. So you're there to perform.
Change the fucking name. You're not if it's gone through multiple owners, change the goddamn name. It doesn't need to be Camp Terror anymore.
So
You owe no allegiance to them.
so it's funny that you say that because they were actually planning on changing the name like next summer. Once they have to get all their ducks in a row. The new owner is
The first
named
duck.
what?
It's got to be the first duck. It's the first duck. All other ducks are secondary. Change that god awful, horrific, terrifying name.
So their plan is the new owner. His name is Dagwood Murder, and so they're planning to change name it after him.
Don't fucking do that.
So
Don't do that. Nobody's gonna want to go to Camp Murder after Camp Terror has been like mysteriously shutting down
yeah, but
for 15 years.
at this point, Camp Terror is like it's a very well known place. It'd be like
So is
it's hard
Ground
to
Zero, you know? Not every
I mean,
place is
yeah,
good.
fair enough. I mean, maybe if you were in charge, you could have talked him out of it, but you weren't. So you're going to Camp
God
Terror,
damn it.
soon to be Camp Murder, and you there,
Jesus
you
Christ.
you perform your smash hit out on the dance floor. Basically, what you've done is you're like, okay, you're gonna meme me. You're gonna like take my shit out of context and make like songs about it. Well, fuck you guys. I'm performing this shit live. So you do a couple versions of out on the dance floor. People are going crazy. There's a the rest of the performers
Wait, I'm just performing the same song
different ways.
multiple times.
Yeah, I mean the only lyrics are "I want to see you out on the dance floor."
Yeah.
So there's like a folk version, there's a techno version, there's a goth techno version. There's a couple different things, and so you perform all of them. Afterward, you get off the stage to like just a standing ovation, and these guys walk past you, and they're like, "Hey, nice job, kid," and you're like, "Oh, thanks, mister." And they're all wearing like surfer outfits, you know what I mean? But
Sure.
their shirts have like pictures of like bongs on them. They walk out there and they're like, "Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, the Bong Boys,"
The
and they're
Bong
like,
Boys.
"Bong, bong, bong, I got a bong, bong, bong,
Bong, bong,
bong, I got
bong,
a,"
I got a
and you're
bong.
like standing in the wings and you're like singing along. You fucking love the Bong Boys, dude. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. It's the Beach
Um,
Boys cover band whose lyrics are exclusively about bongs.
you walked backstage. Next to go up after them is a group called the On the Nose Boys.
Oh
Uh,
no.
they're like a group of singers, and their whole thing is like their lyrics are just they're not very creative. Instead of like having lyrics where they explain the way they're feeling poetically, they just sort of tell you what's going on. So they have a
Yeah.
song where the lyrics are like, "My girlfriend cheated on me. I took her back. Cheated on me again. So I left." And you'd think that people would be like weirded
What's that
out by
song
the
called?
uh it's called my girlfriend cheated on me, so I left. And so the
On the
On the
Nose
Nose
Boys.
Boys, they have their first they're a newer group. Their first record just came out. It's called Songs About Feelings. It's songs
Isn't that
about
like a
feelings.
Lagwagon album?
Is it? I don't know. But
Or let's talk about feelings.
yeah. So Songs About Feelings goes number one. And you'd think people wouldn't like shit like this, but honestly, like the modern American is on the go. They don't have time to for nuance. They don't have time to sit around and go, "Oh wow, like what a cryptic lyric. I wonder what this means. Maybe I'll look it up and discuss it on message boards with like-minded fans." You know what I mean? People just need to know what the deal is. What is this song about? Get to the point. And the On the Nose Boys definitely get to the point.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
The Beastie Boys are scheduled to play too.
Like the actual Beastie Boys or
The two surviving members and a hologram of MCA, the dead
RIP.
Beastie Boy. Yeah, R.I.P. So they're going to perform, and you're like, this is fucking crazy. Like this is happening, and you just end up staying on as a camp counselor. You're like, you get a job there, and I got to be honest with you, Aaron. This is the best job that you've ever had because it feels like you're in a summer camp movie all the time. You know, the weather just stays the same. You know, so it's like even though it's technically March or whatever, it feels like summer when you're at
yeah, but
Camp
like
Terror.
all the movies made about camps are not good. It's all about people getting killed at camp. There's never been a movie about camp where it's, or maybe Meatballs is the only one where everybody's just like, yeah, fuck yeah, everything's good. And even in Meatballs,
Yeah.
just doesn't matter, you know? Like,
The the food there, the cook there that they have is like known for their meatballs.
God damn it, Pat. I
And you
don't
get them for free, baby. So you're working at a Camp Terror and you feel like things are you're settling in. Things are starting to like, like make sense to you. And you're doing pretty good at your job. You've been already employee of the month. You got awarded it after you saved a bunch of campers, 8-year-old campers, from a from a bunch of wolves.
my
That
bravery saved us all.
yeah, and you would, and even though people were like, "Oh, okay, Aaron," you swore that those wolves were up on 2 feet and like wearing tattered clothing and stuff like
What do you
that.
fucking mean they're wearing? How do we not know that? If I
You scared them off. You had like a really bright flashlight. And every people were like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of weird." But there is this guy who lives in the woods, this like kind of crazy homeless guy, Ralph, and he's like one day you were, you know, cleaning, doing your thing, and you walked outside, and he was just like standing there, and he had like a rake, and he was like, "This land is cursed, I tell yous. There's monsters in the forest."
why do you fucking live there, Ralph? Why do you live there? I get that. I
You
get that you are unhoused, but there's got to be a better place than a forest that is haunted with wolves and creatures.
And he kind of gets like a weird look on his face, almost like this hasn't occurred to him. And he's like, huh. He has like a jug of a shithead Jim's shoebox whiskey and takes a big fucking slug. And he goes, I'll think on that, but you're all doomed. And he walks back into the forest.
Stay out of there. Get out of there, my man. Go and literally anywhere else.
You, you go into like, you guys have one of the reasons that you wanted to work there is that everybody, all of the camp counselors have like private, places to sleep. And so like you have your own room, you know? And so, and you make use of it. You go back there, you lay down on your bed, and you're like, I'm gonna take a nap. Before you do though, like you kind of like look to your left, and on the table next to your bed is a Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh, you didn't remember putting it there?
Hmm.
It's a like a it's a cartoon, like the face is like in the style, like you know, like the Pez have like the heads on the top or whatever. It's
Yeah.
in the style of like a cartoon eagle. And you look at it and it says, hello, Aaron. It like
The
opens
fucking
up.
talking Pez dispenser.
Yeah. It kind of like tilts its, what do you call it? Chin up and like a Pez comes out. And you look down at it and it is like, it's sky blue. Do you take it?
No, no, I don't. Pez are weird. It's coming out of something's like severed neck. It's not a
Yeah.
mouth thing. It's coming out of their fucking neck. No, I don't want. I'm not just gonna take a candy that I don't remember putting there.
And the
And oh,
Pez
by
dis-
the way, this thing is talking to me.
you look over at it and like the chin is still up and you see underneath the where the Pez is coming out a little trickle of like
No,
something
there's
red.
no fucking way. I'm not. No, of course not. I'm not gonna fucking take this. It's a bleeding Pez, a bloody Pez dispenser.
And you hear it say like you hear it's like because its mouth is kind of gurgling, you know what I mean? Because it's had its throat slit basically for the Pez to come out.
Jesus Christ.
And you hear it say like, "Make my sacrifice worth it, Aaron. Take the Pez.
Fuck no.
It'll help you against the monsters in the woods."
I'm not
I'm
taking
dying.
fuck this thing. I'm not taking a bloody Pez that I
Well,
just
the Pez
found
isn't
in my fucking room. No, I'm not taking it.
okay. So,
I throw that Pez dispenser in the fucking trash.
yeah, you pick it up. The trash can is on the far side of your like I guess dorm room or whatever, however you want to put it, and living quarters. And you like throw it, and it goes in. It lands in the trash can, and just coincidentally, your your neighbor, the person next to you, the camp counselor next to you, was watching a basketball game. And when your the Pez that you threw landed in there, you hear like a cheering sound coming from next door.
Yeah.
And for a second, you're like, hell yeah.
All right.
And you're like, I'm gonna take a nap. You fall asleep. You dream of a howling void. When you wake up, you like yawn and stretch, and you're kind of like, huh? Because like standing around your bed are like a bunch of freaky, scary monsters. There's one of the wolf men that are like on tattered clothing on their, you know, their hind legs or whatever. Even though that close, you realize it looks suspiciously human almost. There's like a Dracula.
The fuck.
There's a monster that looks like a giant like a piece of popcorn, but it has fangs upon fangs.
This fucking sucks. These guys just came into my home unannounced. Of course they did. You fucking serious?
And You hear from the trash can, you hear like, Aaron, take the Pez, take it. Like they haven't noticed that you've like woken up yet.
No.
The popcorn monster is scratching its ass.
Well, I mean, these are like beasts of,
The forest.
high imagination, right? They're gonna have like better hearing. They're gonna be able to detect me. Like the moment I make a move, they're gonna fucking kill me.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. What would you
Yeah,
do?
Pat. I'm just gonna sit there. I'm just gonna sit there. I'm gonna think of my mother, and I'm just gonna let whatever happens happen to me.
You sit there and you're just like, okay, maybe I can come up with a plan. And then you fart really loudly, and all the
God damn
monsters
it.
go like, "Huh?" And they look at you, and they all just jump on you and tear you
God
apart.
damn it. God damn it.
The
Because of a
Pez,
fart.
yeah, well, they all heard you. They're waiting for you to wake up so they could kill you. Maybe
Great.
the Pez could have helped you. Maybe it could have given
Yeah, who
you, I don't
fucking
know.
knows? Maybe don't present it to me in that format with a bleeding eagle with a severed head. Fuck this.
Camp Terror, they go under. Obviously, there's been another murder. And a few years later, the place is bulldozed down and it's turned into a Denny's.
The Big Denny's. I'm on board with that idea.
Yeah. But this is
Fuck
a
this.
long time after you've
Yeah,
died,
great. Who cares?
torn apart.